Got to be open and honest with you. I thought that this speech from Biden, we'd be talking about it tomorrow because he would be holding it in the evening. But I guess when you're 78 years old and you can barely stay awake more than a couple of hours a day, your version of the evening is more or less early afternoon. So you can go ahead and you can rest through the remainder of the holidays. Take a couple of pictures with some of your great grandkids, or somebody's great grandkids. But yeah, he went out and meandered for a couple of hours, didn't take any, well, not a couple of hours, Jesus, a few minutes. He went out there, yeah, for about an hour, delivered some sort of a rousing speech where he just blamed the same people that he has for the past fucking year that he's been in office. Oh, it's the unvaccinated. Explain why most of the Omicron cases of the stupid coof are, it being held by people who are fully, or whatever fully vaccinated means nowadays. Triple vaccinated? You just ask your good friend, Elizabeth Warren. She just tested positive for the coof, and she has symptoms of it. It's almost like you're touting of these vaccines. I don't know if it's necessarily rooted in so much science, but it's ingratiated in your rhetoric, and it's not going to stop, whether it's in written form, like with this, report that was touted to Axios or some shit like that, saying that Americans in 2021 are in a much better place than they were in 2020. How so? Okay. Let's figure this out before we get into the guts of the speech. President Joe Biden reportedly claimed in a year-end recap to congressional members that Americans are in better circumstances than they were in 2020. How so, Joe? During the 40-year high inflation? Close. Oh, okay. Okay. High crime. Yep. Okay, but to be fair to Joe, there wasn't the summer of love, okay? It was just kind of protracted, and it was just drug out through the entire year. But there was no, late May through July rioting in large cities, and I'm sure if you just listen off into the distance, you can probably still hear Portland burning, but that's totally fine, okay? And, depending on if it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you can probably hear a whole bunch of little brown kids getting shot on the south side of Chicago, but don't worry, Lori Lightfoot has everybody's back there. But yeah, okay, no summer of love. Okay, that's fair. Better than 2020. Okay, that's fair. High numbers of migrants crossing the southern border. How do you explain that one? Oh, you don't. You just don't address it at all. The fractured supply chain and Omicron chaos, which is self-inflicted and self-created, because you could just look at the symptoms like we did yesterday and realize that, should we be taking all of these additional steps for a runny nose? I don't know. But yeah, no, the White House dubbed the memo 2021 POTUS. Ugh. Imagine unironically using a fucking Twitter acronym for an official memo. It's just, it's cringe as shit. Delivered results for working families. What? No. In no conceivable metric was there anything that was produced by this administration that would help anybody except for the ultra wealthy. God, let's just get those old ass bingo wings off the screen. Before President Biden took office, less than 1% of Americans were vaccinated. Yeah, because the vaccines were just being fucking rolled out. Duh. But if you went and took a look at the vaccination rates or at the speed in which people were getting vaccinated, can you tout that you were doing any better? No? Oh, okay, cool. Not that I care, but if you're going to go ahead and you're going to make those assertions that you're doing such a better job, that you said that more than 71% of Americans are currently fully vaccinated, until you change the definition of that, which is, that's on the horizon. Don't worry, you can give it a couple of weeks' time. They're going to, after this, they had their big speech and everybody is just going to go home and sunset for the holidays. Don't worry about it. All this shit is done for a minute. Before Biden took office, less than 46% of schools were open. Today, 99% of schools are open, which are rapidly starting to close and move to online classes once again. Yeah, it really does suck to suck. Citing successes that Trump administration priorities. Yeah, okay, cool. Axios also reported Tuesday that Americans are worn out and perhaps disinterested in Biden's supposed coronavirus successes, instead focusing on inflation, immigration, and crime. Yeah, pretty much everybody's fucking done with this shit. No, don't worry, we got another variant. It's off. Remember Mew? No, everybody's pretty much fucking over this shit. You can try to fear mongering, but The moment you take a look at either symptoms or you just tell people that, yeah, for another winter in a row, yeah, Christmas celebrations are not going to be happening. Listen, we went along with you once, okay? I wasn't necessarily a fan of it, and all my opinions, so whatever ones are left up, thanks YouTube. And if not, they're over on Rumble and all that kind of fun alternative tech sites that, you know, it actually value discourse. All my opinions are up there, and I wasn't going along with it to begin with. And a lot of people I noticed here, okay, especially in Grand Prairie where I'm up at, a lot of people, yeah, last year they were going along with all the nonsense, but now, yeah, people just don't give a fuck, and that just seems to be the general malaise that's around there. And it's like, yeah, okay, listen, the fucking elites, okay, CNN, MSNBC, the White House, okay, whatever your equivalent is in whatever country you're at, you guys can continue to say whatever the fuck you want. We're just gonna go about our lives, okay? But no, you have to be scared, okay? You have to listen to Biden's stupid speech. But social media interactions, likes, comments, and shares, which is exactly, not that I would, but this is exactly the base that these Democrats, the current day Democrats, okay, not the JFK Democrats from the 60s, okay, not the Andrew Jackson Democrats back when the party was being founded, not the LBJ Democrats who would be voting for them for 200 years. Oops. No, that's not the base anymore, okay? It's all about clicks and likes on social media by a bunch of fat-ass land whales with more cats than they can use to outnumber their real-life friends. Or more hair colors, whatever floats their boat, their rather sizable boat. Yeah, social media interactions on news articles on COVID have declined dramatically during the course of the pandemic from 1,171 per per article in 2021 of March. Of March 2020, down to 326 in December of 2020. That's a big old fucking drop off. And then you take a look, and then dropping to an average of 108 over the last 3 weeks. Yep. Yeah, like, I can even tell in my incredibly tiny corner of the internet, like, I do little coof updates, okay, I try to space them out, but in the news right now, it's pretty popular because the media just wants you to be scared of Omicron, and I hear that shit, and I just have to fucking give you guys the truth because I'm tired of hearing about it, and it's much ado about nothing. Okay, and I know, yeah, I can take a look at the view counts and the duration counts, and everybody's just kind of fucking done with it, okay? Everything else is doing fine and doing average, but when it comes to specifically talking about anything that has to do with policy in regards to Omicron, people are pretty much fucking fed up with it. So, what did Biden have to say about it? Well, he's going to be deploying the military to distribute 500 million tests amid the Omicron wave. Why? Okay, why does it matter? If you need to be tested in order to figure out if you have it or not, is it really that deadly? Like, if there was a virus that was around there that was as bad, like if Omicron was as transmissible as the Ebola virus, okay, if people were literally falling down in the fucking streets with eyes bleeding, okay, vomiting up their innards, black goo being spewed into every single sewer around the world, we might have a problem on our hands. But this, runny nose, a little bit of a scratchy cough, like, what the fuck are we doing here? But Joe has our back. Joe has his bony finger on the pulse. So his administration is planning to mail out some 500 million COVID tests. Why are you calling in the military then if you're just going to be okay, whatever. I guess enough postal workers are like, fuck you, we're not working that hard. Starting in January, according to the White House. The White House on Tuesday said it will send test kits to homes and parts of the effort to deal with the Omicron variant. Yeah, but you take a look at where the epicenter of this is. By the time that you get around to putting a stamp on every single one of these fucking home test kits, it looks like it's probably going to be petering out by then. But hey, you just got to take a look at what's happening in New York City and realizing that, yeah, hospitalizations, it's down in comparison with every other fucking previous wave that's been out there, like it says here, okay? New York Health Commissioner, Omicron variant hospitalizations far lower than previous waves. How far lower? Let's just quickly dive into this before we go back. With at least 22,478 positive coof cases confirmed on Sunday, last Sunday, obviously, just a couple days ago, Sunday, rather. in New York State. New York City's health director said cases are rising quickly, but hospitalizations are not. And there hasn't been any fewer hypochondriacs that are out there that would just, oh my God, I got a sore throat. Oh my God, that means I'm going to die of the coof. It's like, fuck off. Just, chill out and just wait a minute, okay? It's just basically, okay, mild symptoms, not going into the hospital. Okay, cool. Or maybe even it's like, oh, you're sick. It's like, I don't feel like it. Well, you are. So quarantine. No, but you should. No. Oh, okay. Right now, there are about 1,000 people hospitalized with COVID-19 across New York City. That's about a quarter of where they were at the peak of last winter's wave, and less than a tenth of where they were in the spring of 2020. But still be scared, and oh no, we should be mailing out 500 million tests and all that stuff. Oh no, this is terrible. Today, the president is announcing his administration will purchase 500 million at-home rapid tests this winter to be distributed for free from the government. Okay, cool. Taxes, yeah, okay, that's as far as we need to go on that. To Americans who want them, with the initial delivery starting in January of 2022. Cool. Do they come with little noisemakers and party favors for us all to celebrate because good old Uncle Joe is benevolent and making sure that we all get... Anyways, additional federal test sites will also be set up across the United States in the coming days, starting in New York City, where hospitalizations are just through the floor, according to the White House, in a bid to help states that need the additional testing capacity. Oh my God, my cases are up, but what about the hospitals? Yeah, exactly. Nursing more tumbleweeds than actual patients, rather. Tuesday's announcement appears to reverse a previous White House position on COVID-19 testing. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said earlier this month, told reporters that the administration won't be mailing test kits to every home. Yeah, you just need to go ahead and just wait a little while, and Joe will just, do whatever the fuck he wants. 6 emergency response teams with more than 100 staff members are also being sent to Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, Arizona, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Okay, meanwhile, FEMA, who are still cleaning up like an actual disaster in Kentucky, Arkansas, Illinois, and Missouri, where those tornadoes ripped through a couple of weeks ago. Remember when that happened? When actual people died in a mass scale and not just died with a mild case of tornado? No, FEMA should be directed there. They should still be cleaning that shit up. But yeah, no, they're going to be going to different places, having their resources spread thin. But Joe's got your back. And the federal government is paying for all of it, the statement said. Oh yeah, all of those free handouts from the government, which is just redistribution of your own money. This is on top of the 300 federal medicinal personnel that we have deployed since we learned about Omicron. And again, how many people is it killing? The CDC Monday reported that Omicron is rapidly spreading and may be the most dominant variant in the country, representing some 73% of sequenced U.S. cases. The Delta strain, which emerged earlier this year, still be afraid of that one. That was at the beginning of the summer, and then it just kind of petered out, right? Makes up about 26.6% of infections, but it still could rage back, or you can be like, what was that, Moderna's top chief? It's like, oh, what if Omicron and Delta paired up and make super coof? People get double infected. Okay, can you go ahead and back up any of that with any sort of scientific basis? It's like, I don't really know too many people, like even throughout history, who have found scientific evidence that the same virus, okay, basically it's the exact same fucking thing with a couple of different deviations on top of it, okay, that it's somehow going to doubly infect people. I don't think that's how viruses work, but I don't work for Big Pharma. I can't just make this shit up in order to make billions, if not trillions of dollars in the long run. Yeah, and this just goes to show you how Delta is falling to the side before we move on. Just a week before that, okay, yep, so this week, okay, 26.6% of infections, and a week before that, it was 87%. So it's already kind of done. Okay, cool. So, okay, made reference to this yesterday, okay, and I thought it would be important to just bring it up again, because why not, right? We got the flip-flopping of the OSHA mandate for the private sector or for the healthcare side of it. It's like, okay, what the fuck is actually going on with these mandates? So, Supreme Court asks Biden administration to respond to flurry of challenges to OSHA mandate, okay? They're eventually going to have to rule on this shit, okay, one way or another, and I don't put any faith in the fucking Supreme Court, okay, because they have their hands quasi-filled with all of those abortion cases up there. Like, okay, I made reference to the viewing numbers when it comes to Omicron videos, but abortions, man, you guys just don't care about that stuff, and that's fine. I don't really care about it either, but they're dealing with that right now, and they might be overturning Roe v. Wade. Spoiler, they won't. And Planned Parenthood v. Casey and a whole bunch of other things. Dealing with Missouri and Texas is different. Abortion bans, even though 6-week abortion ban in Texas just got kicked back down to Texas, so it's going to be enforced. In Missouri, they're still dealing with that, I think, at the last time I checked in on that. But yeah, no, they're dealing with that in the time being. And you know how the Supreme Court works, extremely slowly. So eventually, at some point, they're going to have to rule on this. And the guy that's used in the picture for this article here has ruled in favor of mask mandates. Okay, Brett Kavanaugh has ruled on the side of, I think, Philadelphia Pennsylvania, the larger state, mask mandates there. And John Roberts, okay, he could have been when it was just an 8-panel, when Ruth Bader Ginsburg finally admitted she was dead. When it was just an 8-person Supreme Court, he was the swing vote on that, and he sided with the liberals in order to maintain mask mandates in New York City, I do believe, when Orthodox Jews were trying to get rid of them from their places of worship, if I remember correctly. He was a swing vote on that, and he sided with them. So, and then Amy Coney Barrett, when she was back just being a lowly federal circuit court judge, she also had a couple of different votes that upheld different medical restrictions as well. So don't necessarily think that the Supreme Court is going to come down on the side of freedom and justice, because that's not how they're made up right now. It's a 9-person Supreme Court, okay? But unfortunately, it's not a 6-3 conservative majority that's on there. It's a 3-3-3, okay? It's 3 liberals, okay? You got Breyer, Sotomayor, and Kagan, okay? Obviously appointed by Clinton and Obama, okay? Those fucking absolute brainlets, if you've heard any of them argue. Breyer's not too bad, but Sotomayor is about as dumb of a human being as you can get, but she's a woman, and therefore, she gets to be a justice. Thanks, Obama. And then you got the conservatives. Okay, you got Gorsuch, who's actually pretty good and easily the best nominee from Trump during his time. And then you got Alito, like the only good thing that ever came out of the George W. Bush administration. And then you got super-based Clarence Thomas, which you can't say enough good things about the man. And then you got this Weasley cabal in the middle that just kind of goes with the wind, okay? That's kind of like the neocon, fucking fence-sitting centrists, where you got Brett Kavanaugh, who, you know what, okay, in Trump's defense, okay, Justice Kennedy, who was on the bench, he retired, and he said the only way that he would retire during Trump's term was if his replacement was going to be Brett Kavanaugh. Okay, so you can't really hang that one on Trump. He was kind of hamstrung by that, mostly with a lot of his appointees, and you just take a look at the people in the shadows behind him, but whatever, okay, another topic for another time. And then you have stupid John Roberts, thanks W, okay, so you got Alito, and you got John Roberts, and what do you get? Dick in the ass. And then, okay, the biggest fucking fumble, at least the one that's going to have the longest reaching effects, it's Amy Coney Barrett. Trump was reassured, okay, he was going to have the backing of the Supreme Court if anything funky was going to happen with the elections. If they just nominated one of Mitch McConnell's proteges from the old fucking Federalist Society, Amy Coney Barrett, that makes up your little shitty centrist crew. So the Supreme Court is not a fucking conservative majority by any sense, okay? Oh, I'm an originalist. Yeah, that's how I interpret the Constitution, just exactly like how it's written. That's not how you rule, though. That's not how you come down on these cases. But yeah, they're asking. Okay, yeah, they're going to ask the Biden administration to respond to the challenges. But what are they actually doing, okay? Listen, they just keep dicking around back and forth, punting these different cases. It's like, okay, OSHA mandates in place. Okay, a federal court, okay, stays it. Okay, and then an appeals court overrules it, and then a federal court stays it. And then a federal appeals court overrules it. So eventually, at some point in time, one of these lawsuits is going to get to the Supreme Court's desk, and they're asking the administration, the Biden administration, to be like, Why does this shit keep showing up? Okay, are you gonna fucking figure it out? Are you gonna try to parse it down a little bit? No. Okay, we're eventually gonna have to rule on it. So what are they asking for from Biden? Okay, because that's just my theorizing on the topic. President Biden's administration was directed on Monday to reply to a flurry of fresh challenges to its private employer COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, a Trump nominee, told administration officials to file responses to applications from faith groups, companies, and attorney generals from over half of the states in the country by 4 p.m. on December 30th. That's just days before the mandate's deadline. January 4th, right? I should have put it on January 6th because we all know Biden likes symbolism. We're going to get everybody out of Afghanistan by September 11th. Until the Taliban, until you started to let the Taliban kick your ass. Okay, we're going to leave when they tell us to. This case was finally where it belongs. The Supreme Court, OSHA, has threatened to start punishing employers like our clients starting on January 10th. January 10th. Fuck, I thought it was the 4th. I think that's somewhere else. Anyways. And we're grateful the court has ordered a briefing schedule that will allow for resolutions to our petition before the deadline. Daniel Sir, managing attorney at the Liberty Justice Center, said, "We're very pleased that Justice Kavanaugh's quick response and are confident that the court will act quickly to ensure legal predictability before the deadline." I wouldn't necessarily hold fast and true to that. Kavanaugh is dealing with the matter because the appeals court has issued the ruling that prompted the challenges under his jurisdiction. The mandate in question is promulgated by, yes, OSHA, of course, as we all know. The United States Court of Appeals in the Fifth Circuit in November entered a preliminary injunction against the mandate, and then the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals dissolved the stay on Friday. So somebody's got to decide on it. Somebody at a fucking higher court is going to have to rule on it. So we'll see what happens, okay? Because this is probably going to come right down to the wire, okay? The Supreme Court's probably going to get it at 4 p.m. on the 30th, and then what happens after that? Well, you get New Year's Eve the next day, and the Supreme Court's not going to meet before then, okay? And then they aren't going to meet on the weekend, obviously, so it's going to take a little while in order for briefings to be read by the court and then for anything to really be decided. So don't anticipate anything happening before first or second week of the new year. That's what I'm thinking anyways, but we'll see where it goes from there because, well, I'm not necessarily optimistic about the outcome, but at least it's piqued somebody's interest for the time being. But we got little crazier stories that are intermixed here in as well because Biden's worthless little statements, I don't really care, and it's gonna be forgotten because Joe's just gonna go into hiding, and then all of the different little fucking heads of these different organizations are gonna peek out and start making some really stupid statements here in the near future. So it's more important to pay attention to what they're saying because that becomes policy in a couple of days later. So first and foremost, we're going to start up with what Rochelle Walensky of the CDC had to say, mostly about a certain shot that was discouraged by the CDC late last week, but for some reason they're trying to drudge it up again. But with that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.